back to the channel. I'm glad you're able to join us. We're blessed to have you here. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a couple of things that we have going on in the shop, a couple of new items we brought in, and I'm also, like I said in one of my last videos, I'm looking to do a segment on antiques and a little bit of a history of different things. So I thought maybe I would begin by sharing the history from what I could find in my research, the modern history of a consignment shop, and how it was started and how it began to gain strength. And so I'm going to go back to approximately the beginning of the 1900s and work up a little bit to the current day of consignment shops and what led to them at least gaining popularity and strength and becoming, for some people, a very lucrative business, and for others, a way to pay the bills. If you stay with us, we'll go ahead and go over those topics. So as you can see behind me, we just took in a whole bunch of new items, some of them owned by us, some of them owned by other consigners. Well, we're always taking in new items each week, and we're always looking for new consigners. One of the things that we do is we do 50-50 on our commission split or sales split, and we also don't assume property. And what that means is some consignment shops will start off at a agreed on percentage rate, and each month they'll take off a percentage rate from what the actual owner gets, and they account that towards storage and upkeep and advertising and whatever other expenses that particular consignment shop has in their logbooks. We don't do that when you come here with an item. If it stays here for 2-3 weeks, a month, and it sells, then we do the 50-50 split. If it stays here for a year and you still don't pick it up, we'll still do the 50-50 split. We might be in communication with you, especially if you have other items, to maybe rotate out, bring new stuff in, and bring that item back around if it doesn't seem like it's moving in a particular part of the year. But we're never going to assume your particular item. For anyone back here. We are open today, so I have to interrupt the video from time to time. If a customer comes in, I have to go ahead and take care of them and come back to the video. Also, with all of the bigger windows in here, I'm trying to find good angles for light because there seems to be a lot of light washing out the videos, which I've noticed. The history is just going to be a brief history of thrift shops and how they came to be where they're at today, starting at about the turn of the century, 1900. So in 1897, the Salvation Army began, and that was started in a basement of someone's home, and they began to sell the second-hand items and other items that they had available to them, other household items. And then at around 1902, there was another surge of thrift shops that were beginning to pop up. Some larger chain and some were privately owned, just one or two stores, or only just the one store, kind of like a mom and pop shop type of thing. And a lot of times those singular stores were classified as junk shops, even though the materials that were in them were quite usable still, and they had a lot of life left in them. Around the 1920s, these junk shops began to get reclassified as thrift shops or second-hand stores, and that began to make a market surge for some of the people that had ownership of these shops, and they began to see their sales go up. During the Great Depression, there wasn't an awful lot of money, obviously, because of the Depression, and a lot of people had to resort back to hand-me-down clothing and hand-me-down different household items, chairs, cooking utensils, whatever it might be. Many families had to come together and help each other out, so there was multi-family households throughout the country. And then with that, demand began to greatly surpass the supply, because also with the Depression, manufacturing went down and there wasn't as much available for people to purchase new, which then also drove the secondhand market. So with that driving of the secondhand market, people began to become conditioned to want to go out and seek that secondhand item, whatever it might be, for the need that they had at that particular time. And then during the World War II era, the same exact thing happened all over again. People began to have to merge their families. They began to go ahead and go out, and they were giving hand-me-down items. There was little shops that were doing well because of secondhand purchases. And then somewhere around the 1950s, there became a new movement. A lot of wealthier and higher-end clientele began to shop the secondhand stores and drive the demand for the items to be not only secondhand but higher-end. And that led into a lot of people were buying, a lot of the wealthier people were buying from those shops because there was still a charitable aspect of it, which there is today as well, where you buy a product from certain locations and part of your purchase money goes to charity and part of it goes to running the shop and paying the staff. So this clientele, knowing that some or all of their money went into a charitable type organization, it caused them to want to spend even more. And they also began to develop a desire for the thrill of hunting out that product yet again. An item that they might have used as a kid that they were looking for. Many people like to come in and they're looking for just one item, specifically in this store. I've noticed that there are many people that when they walk in the door, they already have their purchase item in mind. And sometimes we can accommodate that or get very close to it, and other times we're not able to. For instance, I had a person in here, I had a shopper in here about a month ago, and they asked to use our bathroom. And we have this beautiful cabinet on the wall in the bathroom, and they actually wanted me to unscrew it from the wall and sell it to them, which I wasn't able to do because I don't have another cabinet to replace that. It's very unique. It's antique. It's a wonderful little cabinet, and they recognized that. And they were willing to pay me to take it off the wall, which I obviously, like I said, I didn't do. But there is the thrill of the hunt. This person located an item in the most unsuspecting place, but still they wanted it. So then after the 1950s, after the higher end clientele started to come in the doors and started to drive up the industry a little bit, then there was other factors that were brought into secondhand shops, consignment shops, thrift shops throughout the country. One of those factors being environmental. People were trying to figure out ways to recycle and keep their refuse, their throwaway, keep that lower. One of the ways that people discovered to do that was through secondhand shops, through consigning, through flat out donating to different charitable secondhand shops. And that then drove another aspect of the market because people felt better about buying secondhand, keeping the environment clean, reusing and recycling right here immediately. And they got to see the result of that very quickly because the item came in the door and then somebody else bought it and got to reuse it. So I understand that this is a very brief outline of the history of consignment shops, thrift stores, secondhand stores, junk shops, whatever you want to call them. I think they're great little stores. We have this location here in Sunderland. I'll go ahead and post the address right below here and right on the video screen. There's a place right next door to us that's available for rent. And if you're interested in that, and getting into the consignment business or having a retail location or even a business location that's accessible immediately from like the Bennington to Dorset area, go ahead and reach out to me in the comments of the video, and I'll go ahead and put you in contact with that business, with that property owner. Studies suggest that the thrift shop industry is a $14.4 billion industry throughout the country, with no apparent slowing in sight because of environmental and all the other factors that I've just mentioned in this video. If you're watching this video and you're interested in getting into the secondhand business or consignment business, or if you want to consign with us, it is a great way to create a little bit of income and also keep the environment a little bit cleaner and also offer that item up to somebody else that might be looking for it. They may have been looking for it forever. Since my last video, we've gone ahead, we're at 99 subscribers at this video, which isn't a lot compared to some channels, but it's great for us. I want to thank everybody who followed along in this video. And until we see each other again, everybody stay blessed.